Once again, welcome back to everyone tonight. We still got a little bit of time. We kind of anticipated that it was going to be a crowd, but not this big. So we had to stop entry. We had to stop entry into the lounge in order to maintain our capacities. Maumee City Council live stream is going to be, we have a gentleman here tonight that is going to be live streaming it. So,
what's on now?
For those of you, if you've got people outside that couldn't make it in, they can see it on Facebook. Channel 11 is here tonight as well. And before anybody asks a question, yes, the air conditioning is on, but with this many people, it's going to be hard to keep it cool. So maintain, like I said, we got the back bar open. There's water sitting over there if you want water, and we have the front bar open. So hopefully everybody can keep hydrated.
No. Oh, nice. Cool. He's up in the western part of Michigan. He's listening to on the way home. So I will. You can't get in. All baggage is in the walk up there. Everything's shut down. Somebody asked for me. You know what? Let's just all ship ourselves to the car. Yeah. I watched some of those guys. I watched one video. Yeah. Overpressed, man. Like, we're outside. I'm back right here. Yeah. No. Of course, that's my phone. Where's this being live streamed? What's that? Where's this being live streamed? On Facebook.
Can everyone hear me? People in the back hear me? Thank you. First of all, welcome and thank you so much for coming out. This is incredible and way beyond our expectations. I want to thank the Elks for inviting us here, letting us use their space. So my name is Betty Savage McNamara. This is my husband, Pat McNamara, who I've dragged into this, so feel bad for him. I attended St. Joe's Maumee, as did my 8th sibling, but we grew up in Holland, Ohio, so we didn't actually live in Maumee. The question everybody's asking, why are you involved? And many of you may know the story. I'm going to go through it really quickly. Our son and his wife live in Philadelphia. During COVID, their rent almost doubled. So everything, they're working Catholic education, everything. So I said, why don't you move back to Toledo, look for jobs. They both got jobs at St. Joe's Maumee. Our son is the youth director there, and his wife is the kindergarten teacher. In order to get them back here, my husband and I decided to buy a house in Maumee. We bought it for $163,000 years ago. We knew this wasn't going to be a long-term home, but we just wanted to get them back here. We put $20,000 into the house. We did everything that had failed in the inspection, which was a little bit of electrical. We had the basement supported. It was bowing a little bit. The front porch was falling off. We fixed that. So we did some stuff to it. We decided to sell it. Our son and his wife bought another home in Maumee, and they closed a month ago. So we were supposed to close July 8th. We were selling it to the next door neighbor's daughter at a couple $1,000 loss. She wanted to live next to her parents, and we thought that was a great thing. So we decided to sell July 8th. We were supposed to close July 1st. We hear from Midland Title that this has passed, this ordinance, and then I'm still like, okay, we can get this done. We can get our plumbing. Surely, we just had it inspected 2 years ago. It's got to be fine. The city came out right away the next day. They did the inspection, told us we failed on the spot. By the July 3rd, the next day, they had the list of everything we had wrong. Still, we had no idea I was like hoping it was under 10,000. That's what I thought. Finally get the quote. It was $46,500. A 900 square foot home that has one bathroom. That's how I felt. So I started crying on the spot. The poor guy who gave me the contract. Let's see.
When you did other estimates?
So, thank you. I'm sorry I lost my train of thought here. I was scrambling. I called at least 20 plumbers. We had 5 or 6 that came out. 2 just made appointments with me, never did. The ones who came out, we're still waiting. We have one estimate. We're still waiting on quotes. So even if I did have $46,500, I cannot close on the house because I am not in compliance with this new ordinance. The good news in all of this is that plumber talked to the city of Maumee. They were able to tell him they could do something a little bit different than digging up the entire basement to put a crock and a sump pump in because it just had a drain. So now we're down to $37,000.
Oh my God.
Exactly, that's how we felt. So now I'm going to turn it over to Pat. We have about 7 people that are going to speak, and he'll talk to you about the format. And thank you so much for being here again.
Well, my first line here says the purpose of this is to bring together, because we can't imagine each and every homeowner going through what we are in the middle of. It's been a nightmare. So I apologize if there are people who reached out and looking to come here and get all the answers and hear about the lawsuit. Right? We 14 days ago we knew nothing about plumbing. Right? We don't have those answers. But the thought was, if we can bring the community together and we can pull together, and let's align forces, and let's the money, the time spent, the aggravation, the frustration, the strategies, the good ideas. That's what we want to get out. And by bringing people together, we think it'd be better if we did it in forces of one, and along with the city administration. Now, by the end, I'm going to back up. 14 days ago, when Patty, the whole story started, and Patty put it on Facebook, we had no idea she was going to be on Channel 13. And then after Channel 13, the wonderful people of Maumee said, "Hey Patty, you should have a meeting." And then the next one was, "Hey Patty, when is your meeting?" So it's not something we asked for, but it's amazing, and you should be so proud of yourselves, amazing the momentum that this has organically brought together the citizens of Maumee. So by the end of the meeting, what we'd like to do is we would like to gather all the concerns. We would like to gather the ideas, your thoughts. And what we'd like to do is summarize them one voice. And let's give those concerns, let's give those ideas, sum them up and get them to the mayor and our elected officials early tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow at the informative meeting, your concerns will be so to collect and to consolidate these concerns, we have a survey, and it's a really simple survey. So we have some people that will start circulating the survey, and this is so important that we gather everybody's thoughts, concerns, ideas, positive, constructive ideas. Now, if you're filling out the survey, if you want to remain anonymous, that's okay. That's okay. If there's not enough room on the paper, for you to ask all your questions. Just flip it over and get them on the back. But it's so important that we get this information. We will consolidate it. And when the time we committed to it, we thought we were going to be consolidating about 100 surveys. But we'll get through it one way or another.
Do you want people to write their story that somebody is attempting to sell?
Exactly. If you have a story that needs to be shared with your fellow citizens, that's what we want. Okay? But once again, we want it to be in a constructive manner so that we can move forward on that.
I have a concern about tomorrow. The council room is very small. There's no way all these people can fit in there.
Okay. The question or the concern is the room is small. We'll let that get addressed at another time.
We swamped City Hall a couple months ago about the same thing when it was only rental. And you can all go because they will fill all the courtrooms and put it on TV.
Fantastic. Did you hear that? All go. You'll maybe be watching it on TV, but it'd be great to have you there. So tonight, and I'm going to keep going, and we got a people we want to get up here. But tonight we asked a few of the Maumee citizens who reached out to us and passionately wanted to help, and they wanted to share their experience and their thoughts. So what we do is we want to give each of them 3 to 5 minutes. At the end of them, what we say is if anyone has a point that they feel really needs to be addressed on behalf of all citizens, we'll go ahead and open up the mic, and we'll call it a minute on the mic. The one thing we're just going to strongly encourage is bring people.
It's a very serious situation, I understand that. I recognize that probably everybody is very surprised by this ordinance when it came out. I recognize some people and attorneys associated with the director's findings and orders, the director being the Ohio EPA director, under which Maumee now is operating. So, well, because not everyone attends all those meetings, but the mayor, I want to strongly encourage every single person who's here, everybody who's outside, however you can get to the meeting tomorrow. I get to the meeting tomorrow, I strongly encourage you to do it. Because that's going to be the official information sharing. Now, I also wear hearing aids, so they don't always work so well. It's hard to hear some things. Okay, let's stay focused here on what I want to finish. Really not a lot more, but the mayor knows a whole lot more than I do. If there's any behind the scenes meeting, I shouldn't say behind the scenes, but it's meetings that not everyone is privy to. I mean, if you're meeting with the director of the Ohio EPA or the regional office, I mean, that's a big deal. But they don't invite just everybody. And I want to hear what he has to say because I might learn a few things that I was not privy to. That'll be helpful. But I will say, if anybody then after that meeting and has as full an understanding as possible from the mayor, if you still have questions, call me. I'll be glad to talk to you. Last thing, I'm here to listen tonight. That's what elected officials are. We need to listen. Like was said right here, I am very hopeful that tonight's meeting can be very constructive because that's the best way to engage the city. So I'm going to be standing over here and listening, and learning along with you.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. So now I'd like to turn it over to Tom Ozinski, who has his own story as a homeowner who sold a house, bought a house, with the intent to close the.
We gotta fix this mic. Fix the mic!
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm now a proud homeowner of 2 homes. Proud owner of 2 homes. Hopefully for a pretty short time. Pat and Patty asked me to attend because through the channel, we found out we were both supposed to close on July 8th. Our home, I live at 736 Inwood Place, and we were under contract, and our original closing date was July 8th, and the contract was before. Talk really loud. Sorry. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. So So I guess one of the frustrating parts is the way this was rolled out to us. Our realtor was not in the know. He had no idea this was coming. The title agencies were the ones that contacted him and let him know. So just a couple of days before we were supposed to close on our home and our buyer was supposed to get his new home, we were told, oh, that's not gonna happen. You now have to have a sewer inspection. It's gonna cost $100 and you have to pay for it. I said, okay, well, we'll do what we have to do. So I actually contacted Patrick Birch and talked to him, as well as Gabe Barrow, who's one of my neighbors and on the council. And once I spoke with them, I was under the impression that the inspection was to ensure that the sump pump did not discharge into the sanitary or drain sewer. As my sump pump doesn't, I just assumed this was gonna be a formality. So fast forward to the 5th, which we were supposed to close on the 8th, the inspector for the city of Maumee came to my house around 4 o'clock, said he was unable to run his camera into the sewer line because he was unable to get the camera around the corners and the pipes and the sewer clean out. So, now, back up a little bit, the sewer clean out, we put an addition on our home a couple of years ago, and this was all that we had brand new, in the addition to the new sewer, new clean out, everything was permitted, everything was inspected by and passed by the city of Maumee. So there's the clean out. I don't understand why he couldn't get it. However, that being the case, even though he couldn't do it, he quickly was able to point out everything that was wrong in my house, with my basement, with my septic, with everything. He said there's a clay pipe running out there, this, you have to put your toilet this way, you gotta move this pipe. I'm flabbergasted. I thought I was going there to get the box checked. And now, so I asked him, I said, well, how much is this gonna cost? I have no idea, you gotta contact a plumber. Okay, so I contacted 6 plumbers. I was able to get one who showed up today to look at it. I have another one coming on Wednesday. So he came down, I have the whole checklist of what the inspector checked off on everything that needs to be done in my basement in order for me to sell my home. And once he went through this list and looked at it, he said, I'll have the official quote to you tonight. He said, but what I'm looking at is anywhere between $20,000 and $40,000. Okay? I don't have $20,000 or $40,000 laying around. I don't know about you guys. So, and this is not fair to us. It's not fair to the buyer who came with good faith, gave us a great offer. We accepted his offer based on the price. The price of the home was based on the home. It wasn't based on the fact that you're gonna have to spend, let's say, 30 grand to bring it up to snuff so you can move in there. So our new closing date is now scheduled for this Friday. And once we get the other quote, apparently they're gonna take that money, put it into escrow. What'd you say, Pat, the lowest or the highest bid? Highest bid, they're gonna add 10% to that and put it in escrow. What? Oh, 110% of the, sorry, yeah, 110, yeah. All right. So that's been our frustration, and I just want to say I want to thank Pat and Patty for taking the lead on this, and absolutely, and just the fact that we're going to get, if we work together, come up with a solution, I think we're going to be able to get something done so both parties can come to an amicable agreement. You know, screaming and yelling and personal attacks that's not going to get anything done. You know, so I think this is something that, you know, the way it was implemented, the way it was rolled out, probably could have done better, could have been done much better, could have involved the citizens a lot more. However, I was glad Pat asked me to speak. I'm kind of one of the guinea pigs that got hit with this. And the thing is, you all right? But even if you're not selling your home, you're still going to have these inspections and pay for these inspections. So, yeah. So, and then real quick, I just, like I said, that's what the last thing I just want to say. I just hope this gets resolved amicably and fairly. I look forward to working with the city council and, you know, as well as all of you to come to a reasonable solution.
Yes, thank you. The next person, Julie Korolewski, just a passionate citizen of Maumee, her parents, herself. So Julie, if you want to share your comments.
So, of course, my name is Julie Korolewski. I've lived in Maumee my entire life. My parents grew up in Maumee. Our children own homes in Maumee. My grandchild attends Maumee schools.
To say I have a great interest in the sewer problem is an understatement. This issue began at least 30 years ago, maybe even more than that. The problem is, of course, we have not updated or changed the infrastructure that has been in place many years. We have 7 pump stations that are overtaxed when it rains. From what I understand, and I'm not a perfection on this or a professional, but when rainwater or water from downspouts, garage drains run into the sanitary sewer, it is then sent into our river. For years, the city was aware of this dumping. Every town does it, but we were dumping way above the allotted amount. The EPA fined our city and gave us a certain period of time to correct the amount of sewage that was being dumped into the river. At one point, the city had been introduced to a project that could have been the beginning of a solution to fix this problem. It was a 5-year, five-phase program, starting with the area of the most taxed pump stations first. There was an allocated $40 million budget coming from the Capital Investment Fund and the General Fund, along with asking the homeowner to connect to the storm sewer, which would have been an extra approximate $4,000 per homeowner, but there also was a grant given for an approximate $3,500 to each resident that this would have affected, for an approximate $500 per household out of pocket. Now remember, at this time, the city was still responsible for from the street to the side. Some of this work, try it, I can't help it. Oh, the last line was, there's a grant that was going to be offered to each homeowner that was affected by this, and it was approximately, and you can look up the notes back in probably 2018-19, and it would have cost approximately $500. Now this wasn't citywide, this was just at the worst pump station area. They started the work in this area, but at the time, from what I've been told, the council didn't want to tax our citizens, and it would have been about $500 out of pocket instead of $20,000. Now you've got to remember though, at the time, they were responsible for the city right-of-way from the street to the sidewalk, okay? In 2020, during COVID, our council passed an ordinance to make the problem go away. We know what the problem is, and we're here today to come together as a community, not to continue to point blame. There's another venue that we can have for that. And I know people want someone to be accountable, but today we're coming together to find a solution. I ask you please to bring your concerns, ideas, and solutions so we can be as productive as possible. It will not serve us to just say we need to get rid of our council or administrator. At this time, that is not an option. Not to say it couldn't be, but that will take time and a lot of planning. This problem is in front of us now. We have no choice but to work with Maumee Council and administration. We need to stop the 2 ordinances they've put in place and work with professionals in the field of sanitary engineering to find out how we can be cost effective on getting our sewer issues corrected. We are Maumee, each and every one of us. Our city council and administrator is paid by us. I hope they will listen to our concerns and not just hear it and do what they want, but actually work together with us to bring this town back together so we can all be proud again that we live, work, and play in Maumee.
All right, next is a realtor, a local realtor, Garrett, that's going to share his perspective.
So for a little bit of background on the market, right now there are about 30 homes in active or coming soon in the city of Maumee, and 48 that are contingent or pending, meaning they're under contract. I'm sure we'll see more get held up in the contingent and pending stages as this progresses, but that's where we're at. In January of 2020, Harrisburg, Sylvania, Toledo, all over. What's unique about Maumee is we're the only city around here that homeowners are going to be hit on their equity directly when they go to sell. So that equity that you grew, you're the only area, we're the only area around here that's going to take this direct hit. That really got in front of everybody and made this a big known issue. From what I heard, the majority of inspections are failing. Homes built after 1986, from what I hear, have a higher chance of passing without issues, but we all know the city of Maumee has a lot of homes built before that year. Inspection costs are $100 for an initial inspection, $200 per hour for every additional hour, and re-inspection. We're hearing repair costs between $800 to upward of $50,000. This is to be done once the inspection reports back within 90 days. Homeowners are having the option, from what I'm hearing, to put 110% of the repair value in escrow and have that work done after they close, and it comes directly out of their proceeds. I don't know that it makes it better, but that's one of the workarounds we're hearing.
No, hell no.
So
Lose all your money you put in
this
the house.
doesn't even address the problem of there's going to be some people in the recent real estate market that may have overpaid. People that may be behind on their mortgage, may not have a lot of equity. So now they have no equity, they net nothing when they sell, and the city gives them a bill for $20,000, $30,000. What do? And then per Maumee forward, they're saying $100 or $250 to $1,000 potentially fine per day after the 90 days if you do not abide by that. So let's say people can't afford this. Let's say people see they have no equity in their house and they have to do these repairs. Are they going to keep paying their mortgage? Maybe. Some won't. So what does that do? That means houses get foreclosed on. That means we have more blighted properties. That means we open up the market for out-of-state investors, people that create fix and flip quality homes, rentals, things like that. Homeowners, obviously, that can afford this, they're losing a big part of their equity. I mean, it's pretty direct. If you were going to get 50 grand at the sale of your house at closing, now you'll get 30 grand if your bill's 20,000. Plus inspection time and the loss of opportunity time and everything else. Due to fear of these future issues, because word's obviously getting around, people are going to want to stay away from Maumee potentially. So what does that do? That lowers the demand for houses here. Lower demand means lower prices. Now let's say people want to bite the bullet, have the repairs and get out of the city, but no one wants to buy it. So now we have high inventory and low demand. That's going to further lower home values. So now on top of that equity you had, you're going to lose equity through the home values, and then you're going to get hit with this repair cost. So now let's talk about what does reduced home values do? Well, let's talk about what equity is for. A lot of times it's used for somebody's down payment on their next home, or medical expenses, or retirement. Things people
do well, so we upgraded to a 2-bathroom home over by the library, and we are still in that home today. We decided to keep that first home on Southfield as a rental property, so we also still have that. In the late 90s, I shifted gears and got a real estate license. Someone here who might be old enough to remember or recall, I had area specialist signs that lit up at night. They were glow-in-the-dark reflective signs. I decided to specialize in the area of Maumee. My team and I were fortunate enough to do more transactions than any other agent for 5 consecutive years. In the early 2000s, helping buyers and sellers close over $30 million in real estate transactions in a 10-year period. During that period, I also collected a handful of additional rental properties for investment and retirement purposes. Our tenants are long, 8 years or longer. I know that. I know I could rent these houses for $1,600, $1,700 a month. That's what they're going for. An advantage of being a long-term owner is I have flexibility, purchasing these homes at a lower price and being pretty far along with having them paid. Then I can give a good deal to my tenants. I've always kept rents below market for my long-term tenants. They take care of my house, they help me pay for my house. I have no need to get greedy and squeeze every last dollar out of them. Unfortunately, that's probably now going to have to go away. Every one of my properties is, if things keep going the way they're, I'd have to give 100% of my rents just to pay for the sewer upgrades. Nothing to keep, nothing to pay taxes with, nothing to do other improvements. So, if that it's only homeowners that are affected. It's going to be Maumee renters, it's going to be Maumee business owners as well. I only learned of this sewer ordinance over the last few weeks, and I'm still learning. The more I learn, the more devastating it appears. Originally, it sounded as if it might only apply to homes with basements. To my dismay, I learned that any home with clay sewer tiles are being flagged by the city, meaning any structure built before the late 1970s, early 1980s, which is well over 90% of all homes in Maumee. Your sewers have been deemed illegal. If your home was built before 1980 with a edict, now illegal. So, I am what most people would call a small-sized housing provider. I can count all of my Maumee properties, including the home I live in, on my two hands. Yet, by my preliminary calculations, this ordinance is going to cost me between $250,000 and $300,000. If not reversed, I may have to sell two of my and give 100% of all the equity in those homes that I built up over 20 years, but I will lose about $30,000 of annual income that I was planning on for my wife's and my retirement. I've just spoken with an attorney over the weekend and will continue to explore any possible legal remedy. Obviously, with that much money at stake, I won't be afraid to spend some money to make things happen if possible. Make no mistake, the guidelines under enforcement by this ordinance are not completely necessary. Please do not believe any nonsense told to you that the EPA has outlawed clay tile sewers or told Maumee or that they've told Maumee that they have to outlaw them. If clay tile sewers were truly the cause of sewers, there are other options. In their so-called emergency action, our city has grossly overstepped to the severe harm of every Maumee citizen. My understanding is that the EPA gave Maumee until, maybe Phil could confirm this, but until 2051 to get their sewage overflow problems collected, which city officials lied about in the past, creating this mess. If accurate, the EPA gave Maumee 30 years from the time that the fraudulent representations made by prior city officials were revealed back in 2021. If you know people who rent in Maumee and are glad they don't own, let them know they will not be unaffected if they want to remain in Maumee and enjoy the Maumee schools and have their neighborhoods protected by the Maumee Police Force. If you know people who think that this is only going to apply to real estate sales, just listen to the words of Patrick Birch already in print. This is just how they're starting it and how they're rolling it out. They're going to go after it. If you think your property is safe because you don't have any sewer issues, think again. 80% of homes have never, ever in over 20 years even had so much as what's cleaned out from this. They're working perfectly fine. Yet because they are failing clay tile sewers, I'm facing huge financial penalties. Your sewers are only illegal because Maumee has deemed them illegal. And if you remember, I had quite a bit of experience in real estate, with all due respect to our Danbury guy. There's no way that a financial setback of this magnitude does not affect real estate values. It has already brought the majority of recent sales to a screeching halt. I heard Administrator Birch quoted in an article as saying that this ordinance shouldn't even slow down real estate closings. Really? Really? Is this the best wisdom that $180,000 salary can help get by
Yeah.
with in the city? Yeah. I hope that's not taken as negative or derogatory. It is what it is. Sometimes the truth is just kind of bad. They kick happy renters out of their homes. I am just one small local investor. And why is there no proposal to pay for these infrastructure upgrades through property assessments over 20 years instead of making people come up with their own? That's how most infrastructure. I don't know how much of what I've said today will really end up helping anyone. I was asked to speak and share my thoughts, particularly on how this will affect investment properties. What I have offered is mostly about the severity of the consequences from the reckless actions of our city leaders. They must be compelled to recant and change their course, alter their course. I would be glad to speak with anyone here who wants to discuss this further in the days ahead. It's great to see all these concerned citizens here, but we need to get thousands, not just hundreds. I've talked to my 2 neighbors coming over here. Neither one of them really knew anything about it. So, talking about this is no fun for me. I realize I may even be risking retribution against me by some in power in this town based on my previous experience over the last couple of years. But we need to, we need to sound the alarm, have urgent actions. They're the ones that need to be put on the defensive for what they have done and what they have not done. I do have some faith that perhaps a few on council may recognize their mistake and try to take some corrective measures. Let's make sure we get their full attention and try to talk some sense into them.
Mike, but is Damien from E&K Construction with quite a bit of plumbing experience.
Thank you. Again, my name is Damien. I'm with E&K Contractors. We will be doing a lot of this work in the neighborhoods. We've already been inside a lot of your homes, and we've had a lot of questions, I know. First off, we are not the $45,000 estimate that the McNamara's got, so that's not going to be every house at all. So most people are asking me, which they've touched on, is if I don't have a basement, am I okay? You are okay for that floor drain and drain tile systems, but unfortunately the sanitary sewers are going to have to get replaced. If you do have that basement and turning that into a sump crock in your floor drain and pumping that outside, they've given us 3 options. They've given you a daylight option, which is poke a hole out the side of your house and let the water run into the ground, which will eventually get back into your tile, and we're just burning up pumps, and it's just going to keep recirculating. Your second option is a French drain in your yard somewhere. You can do a 4x4 by 4 foot deep, fill it with stone, dump the drain in there. And your third option is to what is a pop-up or bubble drain, which is just like a sprinkler head that pops up. You put it out in your yard, and you better keep it 5 to 10 foot away from their easement, they said. So they want that in your yard, it'll pop up. This stuff will freeze. We're in Northwest Ohio. We have winter. This stuff will freeze on the side of houses, and when we're just dumping it there. A lot of people have asked me if we're running a new line, what does this permits look like? Permits been a big question because to tap into the sanitary sewer, Maumee is about $2,500 just for the permit. We still have to do our inspections. So they are going to allow you to use your own tap if it's okay and the clay's not bad inside of it. Then we would have to do a re-tap, and there may be some additional cost on that.
Damien,
yes.
I have a question. Can you put your sub-rock into the storm sewer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, you can. My question is there, with the storm systems out here, is it going to take this much storm water? Are we gonna have flooded streets now? So that's something we need to think about too.
Build the holding tank.
Yeah.
Build the holding tank. Toledo did it.
Yeah.
Michigan has it at Posey Lake. Build the holding tank.
So I don't believe that the Maumee storm systems are ready to take on this many homes stormwater. But yes, you can tie into the city.
Right.
If you have storm system in your, I've been on a few streets today where there wasn't. The question was, can you tap into the city storm system with your sump pump and your storm water for your basement drain tiles? And yes, you can. You cannot do it yourself, no. The city will be out there. If we come to your house tomorrow and we're digging in your yard, the city will be there the entirety of the job. Sure, so it's gonna be a lot of these side streets. A lot of these side streets don't have them. You may have a catch basin at the corner of the street where you see 2 curb basins, but there are not storm mains running down every street. I was just on West Brookway the other day, and there is not a storm sewer that runs down that road. They've done some work to the main sewer lines, but they're not any better than your guys' lines going to your homes. They're just as old.
Sewer and storm side by side.
Now, I've had a lot of questions, is there any other options besides digging up my patio, digging up my backyard, or digging up my driveway? I've seen these run through your driveway, through your garage, where we have to go in your garage, dig up the garage floor. I've seen it all different ways. So there is a different, they are allowing you to hello? They are allowing you to line your sanitary sewer system. It's a resin liner. We do it, we're capable to do it. We don't know how long that lasts. It's, they say forever, but we know the PVC is really forever.
5 years, get re-inspected.
There's different costs both ways. I wish I could say everyone's house is going to be this much to this much, but there's different in everyone with basements, crawl spaces, yeah. So obviously the depth of your sewer line is very important. If your sewer line is deep, you're going to be a lot more than someone that's on a crawl or a slab that's 3 foot deep. So the prices are going to fluctuate on a lot of that.
Think I'm lying, Jeff? You're just selling me my windows. This is showing.
So she just, if she's not interested in selling, and how can she get an inspection, being that you're not interested in selling, but see where you're at? So E&K contractors, even though the city of Maumee is charging you for inspection, we're not gonna. We'll do a free camera inspection for anyone in here that wants it. We will locate your sewer system.
He does the camera inspection.
So she asked if we find a problem, does she have to fix it immediately? Well, if it's damage to health, safety, or property, they're gonna say absolutely yes. They are not granting any more. So say you have a 200-foot long sewer system all the way out to the main. If 199 foot of that is good and you just have one broken spot, they are not granting repair permits anymore. There's no such thing as a repair permit. You cannot repair that. You've got to take the whole line. So there is no more repair permits. We cannot do a spot repair, come out, dig in there, and make a repair.
If you have any questions you want to come up, we'll summarize the questions and then get the answers out through the media that Petty can use it. But and this week, what we want to do is make sure if somebody has a topic that we haven't tonight, or we need answers on, we may want to make sure we're giving you the opportunity to come up here 1 minute in the mic and get that out. But Yeah, I can't thank you enough for how respectful everybody has been. And you should be so proud of yourselves. So we'll be around too. Just because there's so many people in here and so many people outside, it's very hard to do the questions. But we'll all be up here. If you have a question, come. But if anybody would like the mic to just go ahead and voice an issue. Once again, we want it on the sewer, and we just want to keep everything positive.
Can everybody hear me? I received from the mayor on to increase my water and sewer rates. And his little spreadsheet was based on 1,000 gallons. Do you know that the city bills you for a minimum of 6,000? And most people use more than that. So I did this spreadsheet that said Maumee water and sewer rates. If anybody would like to have this spreadsheet, this is great. The other thing at the bottom, I asked this question. What is happening to all the money that the city is collecting from this water and sewer? They should have money coming out of their ears. The other big question I have, and I read this in the mirror, where the city's going to fill in this ditch in Arrowhead Park. It's going to cost millions of dollars. Is that going to benefit any of you people? No. And where's all this money coming from? This money could be used to correct the UPA problem.
I gotta go ask this guy a question. Real quick, if anybody wants to talk to Damien, we're gonna have him stay at this table. If you could just line up along the wall, if you got just kind of try to keep it in a straight line and work the opinion.
I gotta go ask this guy if he's gonna, if you have that camera, they do the inspections, does that count towards the 90 days? That's what I want to know. Yeah,